Hello, this is D and I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be reviewing the Apollo Phantom 2.0. Now, I pre-ordered this scooter and I've had it for quite some time now, so I can give you guys a real world experience, at least my experience with this scooter. Now, this scooter is decked out, and this is for somebody that wants to go fast and have a stylish scooter as well. Now, as you can see, we have 360-degree lighting. We have a lighting on the stem. We have it all around the body. You have brake lights. I'll squeeze it here so you can see the brake lights. We have the indicator as well. As you can see, we have left and right, so they're on both sides of the scooter. So this is a well-lit scooter if you're going to be riding it in the nighttime, and it just has that pizzazz with this lighting system. It's unlike any other scooter, and that's one thing that Apollo has going for it. Their scooters are just one of a kind. The design is really I don't know, it's futuristic. It's like cyberpunkish, you know what I'm saying? Now, this is all decked out in black, and this is the Founders Edition, and I pre-ordered this edition, and I've had it for, I don't know, I've had this scooter since March, and I started riding it in about June or July. I should say, no, I started riding it in June, and the first ride that I actually had with the scooter, and I'll include it in this video, the back, or I should say the second ride, the back motor stopped working, and I had to actually use Apollo's warranty. And I will say that within about 2 weeks, they had my scooter back to me and was up and running. So the warranty process went without a hitch. And to be honest with you guys, most of you are not going to have any experience, or I should say any bad experience with your scooter. I was just unlucky to have a model that the back motor wasn't working. But like I said, Apollo took care of it, and I was up and riding within 2 weeks. Now, this scooter goes 70 kilometers an hour. If you push it, you could probably get about 75 kilometers an hour, and this is in the Luda mode. It is extremely fast, and today we're going to take it through its paces. We're going to take it through a speed run. We're going to take it uphill. We're going to test the brakes. We're going to test the range. Now, I will say that this is not my first footage, and I will add some other footage throughout this video. I did capture some of it on my GoPro, and I got to be honest with you guys, the GoPro sucks. That is the worst action camera that there is. It just dies on you. It overheats. I'm not a fan of it. And when I was actually doing my review, it just cut out on me, and I didn't realize that it cut out on me. So half of my footage from my review, or my initial review, it was kind of trash. Now, you will be able to see some of it in this video, but I just wanted to start from the top and just give you guys, you know, the whole rundown on the scooter. Now, we do have shocks. Now, these unfortunately are not hydraulic shocks, but I will say, even though they're not hydraulic shocks, they work really well. I have no problem. I weigh 205 pounds, and they carry my weight well, and they handle the bumps and the potholes in the road really well. It's a smooth ride. You also get disc brakes. Unfortunately, it's not hydraulic brakes either, so I wish that it did have hydraulic brakes as well as hydraulic suspension. And if that is something that you're looking for, that will be available in the Phantom 2.0 Stellar Edition, which goes a little bit faster as well. And hopefully we're going to have it on the channel. I was in talks with Apollo, and I'm trying to get a review sample of that scooter. So hopefully we'll have it on the channel, and we'll get into that. But today we're going to be reviewing the Phantom 2.0. And like I said, it has disc brakes, but they work really well as the shock brakes. And most of the time, if you're riding an Apollo scooter, you're not going to be using the disc brakes anyways. You're going to be using the regen brakes. Now, because I pre-ordered my scooter, I also got a steering dampener, as you can see here, and you can adjust it to your liking. I'm still kind of fidgeting with the steering dampener, trying to find the best balance for me. I think I found it right now, but that's something that you can play with to your comfort. Now, I added a front bag so I could put my keys in there, so you might hear those rattling a little bit today. Now, it also comes with a quad lock. As you can see here, we have a quad lock, and we're also going to have the display of the scooter via the app. It doesn't come with an electronic bell, but it does come with a regular bell, as you can see here. And I have installed an electronic bell just because this goes really fast, and I do think that for something that goes so fast, you should have a better horn on it, not just this little bell. But that's neither here nor there. Like I've always suggested, when you ride a scooter, make sure you have a mirror so you're able to see what's behind you. So that's pretty much it with the scooter. As you can see, the deck here, it's pretty large. You got more than enough room here. It's got a nice lip at the top. You can fold down the scooter and you can carry it. The scooter weighs maybe about, I would say, a good 80 pounds the scooter weighs. So it's not a light scooter, but this is like, I don't know, man. This is like the cyber trucks of scooters. So without further ado, let's just get on this thing. Let's just ride out, and I'll give you guys my impressions of the scooter. Now, like I was saying, We are going to have some footage throughout this that was from my original ride out. So we'll be cutting in and out from this footage that I'm shooting today and the previous footage that I did shoot. Now, I will say that this scooter goes so fast, and at times I'm kind of hesitant to bring it past 65 kilometers an hour. Now, you got to ride these scooters with care, and you should always ride with a full face helmet. Now, that's something that I do have on today, and I suggest that at the very least that you ride with a full face helmet, because if you wipe out, you want to protect your head. Now, I also have elbow pads and knee pads on as well, and some other people, they have like chest guards as well. Now, if you're going to be riding this constantly at like 70 kilometers an hour, then I probably would suggest the rest of the gear. Okay, so as you can see, here's the dashboard. You can turn your lights on and off from here. Just go into the settings really quick so you guys can see it. That's cruise control. We can go into the settings here. You got Eco, Comfort, Ludo. Of course, we have it in Ludo, which is the max speed of this scooter. Now, let's just ride out and let's just see what this Apollo Phantom 2.0 is capable of. Now, the range on this scooter. Now, in the video, and I'll probably put this up right now, I rode it downtown and I got a lot of range. I got, if I'm correct, I think I got about 50 kilometers of range, yeah, I got 50 kilometers of range. That's right, because I got an achievement on the app. So I got 50 kilometers of range, and I rode it all the way home, and I was riding it around downtown. And when I got home, I still had like about 21% left in the battery. So that is just absolutely insane. Now, if you want more speed, that is another thing altogether, because the stellar version of this scooter, I believe it goes about 85 kilometers an hour, which is faster than the 70 to like 75 you might get out of this one. Now, if you weigh a little bit lighter, you're not like 205 pounds like me, you'll probably get this a little bit faster than 70 kilometers an hour. But at the bare minimum, you will get this scooter up to 70 kilometers an hour. And we'll do a speed run. It'll be in the video. I don't know where I'll insert it or if I'll just do it again in this video, but we got it fast. Like, we took it down to the exhibition there and we just peeled it out and it was flying. So it gets up to speed real quickly. And also too, if you just want to be able to cruise around and, not have any worries on, if you hit the throttle, it's just going to gun it. That's one good thing about these Apollo scooters. Their throttle response is excellent. Like, I'll give you an example right here. I'm just gonna push it a little bit here, just a little bit, and it gives me a little bit. I'll slow it down and I'll just like baby it. I can just baby it, like baby it. So you see, I'm going really slow, and then I can just hit the throttle, and it just flies. So you have a lot of control on this scooter. And like, overall, I am impressed with this scooter. Once again, if you do run into any issues, the warranty service is very responsive. Like I said, I got this scooter back within 2 weeks and I was up and running, and it was basically a painless process. And I got to give a shout out to Swift. They did a fantastic job relaying to me when the parts were going to come in, when they got the part in, when it was fixed, when I could come pick it up. Any little questions I had about scooters in general, they were very, very helpful. So if you have a Swift in your neighborhood, I definitely recommend them for the repairs of scooters and e-bikes. They are a fantastic company, and I was very satisfied with the service that they provided. Let's go. Woo! Flying. So you see, we're overtaking traffic here. It is flying. Holy smokes. This is a fast scooter, man. I don't even know how fast we're going. I can't look at the speedometer because I'm just like focused. Wow. But that is some speed. Whoa. Slow down. That is some speed. Yeah, so we hit 60 kilometers there. I'll try to hit 70 for you guys. I just got to make sure that it's safe, because the speed limit in this area is actually 60 kilometers an hour, so I don't want to get booked going 70 kilometers. But we'll try to get a safe spot where we can actually ride out. I'll find like a street or something that we can ride out so you guys can see the top speed. but it does get up to 70 kilometers. I have got it to 70 kilometers before. I'm going as fast as traffic is going, right? And here it's actually 50, as you see right there. And I'm keeping up with the pace of traffic. So that's another thing that's good about this scooter. If you're, doing urban commutes or you ride. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Holy shit, man. Gotta watch where you're going, bro. Holy. See, that's what I'm talking about. Well, we just had our first, oh my gosh, our first jump scare on this scooter. And you got your first test to see that the brakes actually work. Oh, I couldn't have rehearsed that. Not gonna lie, that guy wasn't looking where the hell he was going, and he was just turning into me. And it's a good thing that I yelled, and it's a good thing that I had good brakes on this. Now, if this was a situation where you were relying just on the regen brakes, it wouldn't have been a good situation. I would not have been able to stop so quickly. But because I have these cable actuated brakes that also have regenerating brakes on them, I was able to stop in time. And that's something that I gotta really point out. Make sure that you wear your protective gear in case you get into a wreck, that you're safe. At the very minimum, a full face helmet. And always be aware of people on the road, because half of the time these guys driving, they have no idea what they're doing. So always be aware, right? And that's another thing, like I said, having the speed or the ability to go fast allows you to kind of avoid certain situations as well, right? Because you don't want to be going slower than the flow of traffic, because that's also very dangerous. You want to be able to go the speed of traffic as well, be able to, overtake and overpass. And some of these other scooters that don't go as fast, they're just not as safe to ride on the road. Where this scooter, it's extremely fast. You can ride it on the road, right? So yeah, that was pretty crazy there, I'm not gonna lie. The last part of the video that I was doing a couple of days ago, and I noticed some clicking coming from the front and the back. So I went online and I looked into it, and it looks like the suspension is making that sound. And Apollo did respond, and they said to get rid of that sound, to use some lithium grease and to put it right here. Hopefully you guys can see this right in here. Hopefully I'm catching that. Spray the lithium grease in between there to lubricate it, I guess, to get rid of the sound. Now, I did do that, and I use a little bit of lithium grease on some of the other little bolts there. And I will say, so far, I'm not hearing that sound. Now, I don't know what part of that video that I was recording that I'm going to use in the actual review, but if I didn't use that part up until now and you see the difference, I'm going to insert that clicking right now so you can hear it. The sound is coming from my scooter. I don't know what that rattling is. You hear that? So you should be able to hear a distinctive clicking, riding at all kinds of speeds, just very low speeds of clicking. And now we're back to the present where I have sprayed it, and we're gonna go on here so you guys can actually hear it and see if there's a difference. Now, I'm not hearing any type of clicking whatsoever, so you guys can also be the judge of that. So let's get back over here. So it's very quiet. I'm not hearing any of that noise. That clicking, it appears to be gone. So that is good. Appears to be gone. So that's really good to know. So if you are having that issue, just use some lithium grease. I use the WD-40 lithium grease. And yeah, I'm not hearing any of that. Now I also want to go over a few other things. Let's just try to pull over here, put my indicator on. And I want to show you guys the steering dampener, or the steering damper. It's very, very effective. Now, I've been playing around a little bit with the stiffness of it. Now, right now, I have it at about 8, and 8 is pretty good. And I'll say that this scooter is a very, very stable scooter. Like, I don't get any type of wobbles, speed wobbles. Like, let's just go on a quick little rip here. And as you can see, like, there's no wobbles. It's very, very secure. That's one thing I'm going to give credit for Apollo with this Phantom 2.0. You feel very secure riding at high speeds. Now, sometimes my balance might be a little bit off, and that's like a rider thing. It's nothing to do with the scooter. But apart from that, it's well riding. Now, the steering dampener, I was fooling around with it a little bit. I put it to 8, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really like it at 8. I just wanted to mess around with it. So you can play with this to your comfort. And basically what this does is it makes your steering a little bit more stiffer, so that when you're going at higher speeds, that it's much more controlled and you're not going to get the wobbles, because you don't want to get speed wobbles on a very fast scooter like this, because, you know, I don't want to spell it out for you. That's not going to be a good day for you. Now, let's just spin it around. I'm going to put it back because I like it personally at 16. So I'm going to put it right here at 16. That's where I like it. And here, I'll just do it here. Yeah, see, that resistance I like. It just gives me more security. Like, it just gives me a more secure feeling. But you can do that to your liking. But once again, I'm very happy that that clicking sound is gone. So 100% I can confirm in this video that if you have an Apollo Phantom, I don't know if this is going to be an issue with the Stellar as well. If you do hear that sound, just put some lithium grease on it, and you should be fine. Now, this scooter is extremely fun to ride. To get up to like 60, 65, it's pretty easy. I think when you're trying to get it to 70, it gets to 70. We'll try to rip it down here to 70, but it just takes a little bit longer to get up to speed when you want to hit 70. But 60 to 65, you get there really quickly. You know, if you want more speed and you want more acceleration, then of course Apollo has the Phantom 2.0 Stellar Edition, which I believe goes 85 kilometers an hour. I believe it has a 30 amp hour battery, opposed to the 27 amp hour battery that we have in this Apollo. So you're gonna get more distance, you're gonna get higher rate of speed, you're gonna get a better range, you're gonna get better acceleration. That one, like I've seen people ride it, you know, I've seen some of the reviews, and, like, you know, people that own it, buy it, ride it, and that one, it is like incredible, the acceleration. Now, this is a really fast scooter too, don't get me wrong, but that scooter, you know, the acceleration that's on it, it takes it to another level. See if they'll let me over. No, they won't. That's the thing, eh? When you're riding on these scooters, sometimes they don't give you the same courtesy. Let me just turn off here. The same courtesy that you would get from a car, right? Like, they see you're going at a good rate of speed, and they're still not going to give you the courtesy that they would afford to another car. And that kind of sucks, I'm not going to lie. That's why you got to be kind of wary when you're riding these in the street. Let me just cross over here. When you're riding these in the street, because a lot of people, they don't expect your scooter to go as fast. Other times, you know, they're not paying attention, and, you know, you're taking up less space in the road, so you're less visible to a certain degree, so some of them might not see you. So that's why I do like this scooter in the nighttime with the 360-degree lighting. You are very visible. You know, you got the turn signals, rear, and at the top of the handlebar. You know, I'm wearing a white helmet, as you guys can see, so that also makes me quite visible. And yeah, just, you know, you got to be aware of other cars on the road, because a lot of them aren't aware of you, so you got to anticipate what they might do to keep yourself safe on the road. Now, I don't like to ride my scooter all the time on the road. I only ride it when it's necessary. I would prefer to ride it in the bike lanes. For some reason, you know, in the GTA, I don't know, it's like the powers that be here, they got something against bike lanes, and it makes no sense. First of all, bike lanes are safer. It's an alternative mode for transportation, which reduces the gridlock, which also reduces the emissions. It's good for the environment. You know, it encourages people to go outdoors. If you had bike lanes more readily available, a lot more people would think of alternative forms of transportations, such as scooters and electric bikes. But when you don't have the freedom to do it on the regular roadways, or on most regular roadways, then it kind of deters a lot of people from getting it, right? Because it becomes a safety thing, because you're in a scooter, you don't want to get into a collision with a motor vehicle, right? So if you have designated bike lanes, you feel much more safe and secure. You're not riding in the street with traffic, so less danger, less vehicles on the road, etc. Let me go up here. Let's see if we can get some speed. So we're going up the hill here. We're at like 50, I think. We're probably still climbing to 60. We're probably at like 65. I'm going to slow it down a bit because we're coming across a corner. And I want to make sure there's no cars behind me ripping it around this corner. So you see, like, there's great speed in this scooter. And it's very, very comfortable. Like, it's a little bit windy right now, I ain't gonna lie. So I don't like when it's windy like this because the wind kind of does push you around a little bit. But, the scooter itself, it is very, very stable on the road. This whole review took you all across the city. We were downtown, that just shows you that this scooter is really designed, to take it around the city. Like I said, I get at least 50 kilometers on most of my rides. And, I'm going back to my vehicle or my starting point or wherever. And I'm having about 21% of battery life remaining. So range anxiety, you're not going to get it with this scooter. The speed wobbles, very safe. You're not going to feel that with this scooter. It's very fast, very good acceleration. You're going to be satisfied with that. Now, if you're one of those speed demons and you want more speed, then, Apollo has you covered with the Stellar model, which gets up a higher top speed of, I believe, 85 kilometers an hour, I believe, is the top speed on that one, where this one is about 70, 75. And I'll be honest with you guys, once I start to get to like 65, close to 70, I'm kind of good at that point. I don't really want to go faster than that on an electric scooter. And, for most parts, I'm riding it on trails. I'm riding it in the city with traffic. And in the city with traffic, the speed limit is either 50 or 60 kilometers an hour. So, as long as I can go with the flow of traffic, that's all that really matters for me. I don't really need to go faster than traffic. But once you're going with the flow of traffic, it's much safer because, you're not impeding any of the vehicles that are on the road because, you're going essentially at the same speed that they are. And, the chances of you, getting into an accident or wreck are a lot less likely. Now, I got to talk about the cons of this scooter because, I've been talking glowingly about this scooter and it's not all rainbows. There are some cons on this scooter. Now, one thing, we're going to crank up the speed here and we're going to use the regen brake to slow down. So I'm hitting the regen brake. So do you see the amount of time that it took to stop? Like, it slowed it down and it did stop it, but it didn't give you a sudden stop, right? So if that was an emergency situation, you wouldn't want to be using the regenerating brakes. So you use the regen brakes when you're in traffic. You just want to slow down, gradually, you want to watch your speed. That's when you can use it. But if you really need to stop in an emergency, you're going to want to use your cable actuated brakes, which actually engage regen as well. And you guys saw earlier in the video when that car almost hit me. It's very good for, it was very fortunate for me that I was having these actuated brakes and I was able to stop in time before that car actually hit me. So that's just something also to notice. And, when talking about that, that's probably one of the cons. Here, I'm going to pull the brakes so you guys can see it. And I can lock them up. I don't want to. One of the cons, I guess, is that at this price point, now, although the levers are great and the regen that's added to it is fantastic and it stops well, just at this price point, paying 3,000 Canadian dollars for this scooter, you would want them to put some, hydraulic brakes on it. And, it's a little bit disappointing at this price point because when you look at some other scooters, they have hydraulic brakes, right? And then, you got to look at the pros, do they look like this though, right? But at the same time, it's not all about looks. It's about ride. It's about safety. It's about the quality of the scooter, right? So we can't just fixate, wow, this looks fantastic. It looks futuristic. You also want it to have features that other scooters in the price range have, and hydraulic brakes is one of them. I would also say the shocks. Although I said the shocks are great and they're great for my weight, I'm about 205 pounds. Initially, they were very bouncy. I got them tightened from Swift and I feel much better riding this scooter now. It's not bouncy anymore. It feels more secure at higher speeds. But hydraulic brakes would have been a much better addition to the scooter. And once again, you're paying $3,000 for the scooter. I feel that they should have added the hydraulic brakes. Now, or I should say suspension, my bad. But I will say they work well. And, you do have the option of spending $1,000 more and getting the Stellar model that does go faster, that does have the hydraulic brakes, that does have the hydraulic suspension system. I don't also like this dot display. Now, it gives you all the information that you need, and it's fairly bright in the daytime where you're able to see it, but it's just so simplistic and minimalistic. And I see many other scooters with nice LCD displays or OLED displays, and it just looks a lot better. And once again, for the price point of this scooter, I feel like it should have had a better display. Now, it might have been an artistic choice for the scooter, but I'm just saying I don't feel that display. I would much prefer a LCD digital display that gives you more information on it, right? But once again, you have the Apollo app, and you are able to go through it. I don't know if I can click it here. You can see I'm in the Luda mode. You can go through all your different settings. You can see the motor temperature, the controller temperature. The motor's at 71 degrees Celsius. The controller's at 52 degrees Celsius. We've been riding for 48 minutes. We have 15.4 kilometers on this ride, and we have about 70% of the battery left. And once again, we are in Luda mode, and you guys seen I was ripping it. So the battery is fantastic, and the app is fantastic because it gives you all the options to change stuff on the scooter and all the details that you could possibly want. Maybe another time I'll go through the actual, let me move out the way because I'm in the road here. Maybe another time I'll actually go through the app, but the app is very good. Like, you can turn your headlights on from here, turn it off. You can lock the scooter. You can apply cruise control. You can check the temperature of your motor, your controllers. It's well versed. It gives you turn-by-turn navigation as well. It's a very, very good, robust app. This has Apple Find Me. It has regenerating brakes. It has Samsung's battery cells. The tires are extremely large. I think the tires are like 11-inch tires on this, 11 by 4.5 or something. I think it is something like that. I'll put it in the video if the specs are wrong, what I'm citing right now. So it's got good tires. Maybe that's one other con is the tires. Let me just pull over here and I'll show you guys the tires. Let's just pull over here. Now the tires here, I'm gonna show you guys the tires. Now these tires, these are like a hybrid tread tire. So, they're good for off-road. They're as well good for the city. But I will say the knobbies do make a little bit more noise. So it makes it a little bit louder. As well, the knobbies make the ride a little bit rougher. I feel that if this was equipped with street tires, I think it would hug better at higher speeds, because when I'm going like 70 kilometers an hour on this, I kind of feel the knobbies kind of, bouncing, giving a little bit of vibration at those speeds. Whereas if you had a street tire, it wouldn't be doing that. It would be hugging the road much better. I also feel the street tires would probably give you a little bit more speed. So that might be something I do in the future. I might switch out these tires for street tires. And that's another good thing about this scooter, is that if you want to upgrade the parts to the same parts that are on the Stellar, you can. So you can upgrade the suspension to the same hydraulic system that's on the Stellar, as well as the hydraulic brakes. So you're able to do that. And I think that's really the only thing that's missing on this scooter opposed to that one. Yes, that scooter is a faster scooter. You get better acceleration, but it's not like this scooter is like a slow scooter. This is not a novice scooter, right? You can make it a novice scooter by sticking it in the eco mode, but it's not a novice scooter, right? It's a very fast scooter. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna rip up this really high hill. Now, I'm not too far from the car, so I don't really care if I kind of drain the battery. Now, mind you, you're going up a steep hill and you're in Luda mode and you're throttling it all the way, that is going to drain your battery for sure. Although the range is great on this battery on the Apollo Phantom 2.0, the 27 amp hour version, once again, going full throttle, you're going to burn out the battery. You got to know how to ride a scooter. You know, you got to know when to take advantage of the downhills, when to ride with the wind, you know, when to let off the throttle to maximize the range on your scooter, and especially with the Apollo, when to use the regen as well. Going down a steep hill using the regen, that will get you a lot of energy back into your scooter or into your battery. All right, now we're gonna rip it up the hill. Let's see what speed we get. Going into the wind a little bit, but we're going uphill. This is a very, very steep hill. I feel like maybe we lost a little bit of speed there. Yeah, we're at like, looks like 58, 60 kilometers an hour, but this is a steep hill. And my GPS data should be recorded, so it's gonna even tell us how steep the incline is on this hill. So that was, man, that was a steep hill. All right. Now we're at 54% battery. So as your battery life goes down, you're not gonna have the same peppiness as a full battery or as a full charge. But at the same time, I will say that this Apollo scooter is still very, very fast. You know, we are 54% charged, and I think we're going at least 70 here. Feels like it, at least to me. We are going fast, we are ripping it. And it's stable. You know, outside of the wind blowing me around, hopefully you guys can hear me, it's very, very stable. And that was with me fully depressing the throttle. So I don't know the speed that we got there. I know that it drained a lot of the battery there, because before going up there we had like 54% battery life, and now we have like 43. So that just goes to show you how quickly you can actually drain it as well when you're, you know, putting it through extreme conditions. Thinking of things that I've missed to put in the actual video, but this video, it did take a while to shoot. I would say it took me roughly about a month, man. Like when I first got the scooter, the second ride, the back motor stopped responding. I had to take it into Apollo. You know, after 2 weeks, they got the scooter back to me. Then I started to do my review. You know, I had other things to do at work, so I couldn't, you know, I was riding the scooter, but I couldn't, you know, always put the gear on to, you know, capture the review footage. I got some footage. I was downtown. I had a GoPro. The GoPro, some of the footage wasn't captured properly. I went out again with the GoPro, and the GoPro stopped working. Then the SD card didn't work, and no SD card would work. I had to send that GoPro in. I still haven't received it yet, but it was covered under warranty. And I'll say this, GoPro sucks. I don't know how all these content creators use the GoPro to capture this type of action footage, but I don't like the GoPro. I don't think it's a good camera at all. I much prefer the DJI system. I have a DJI Action or DJI Action 4 on right now that I'm recording. Some parts of this video are recorded with the DJI Pocket, I think it's the Pocket 3. And their whole camera system is just much better than what you get from GoPro. And that was part of the reason why it took so long for me to finish up this review. And then when I was right at the end of this review, you know, I had an issue with my back, and that took about a week to get through. So finally we're finishing this review. So this is an honest, unfiltered, unsponsored review. I paid for this scooter with my very own money. Apollo didn't pay for this scooter. You know, although I do have affiliate links, I'm able to say whatever I want about this scooter. And today I've been 100% truthful with the scooter, what I do and I don't like about the scooter. I talked about the shocks. I wish that they were hydraulic. Nonetheless, they're still very good shocks. The same with the brakes. I wish they were hydraulics. Nonetheless, they're pretty good brakes, especially that when you pull the levers, you get regen. I like, you know, the 360-degree lighting. I didn't like that I was getting some sound coming from the rear and the front. I used some lithium grease. It looks like it just needed some lubrication on the suspension. I'm no longer hearing those sounds. I mentioned that I don't like the display As you guys can see here, the dot display, not a big fan of it. I wish that it was, it had an LCD screen that gave you more information. I don't like that it has this little dinky bell. I've installed a third-party bell on it. I think a scooter going so fast shouldn't have this dinky bell. I like that it came with the steering dampener. I wish that it had street tires opposed to these hybrid tires. So, you know, there are some cons to the scooter, but overall, I have to say that the scooter, it's so much fun to ride. You get really good acceleration. It's very stable at high speeds. It's very stable at low speeds. The modulation on the throttle is so good. You know, you can just baby it and get a little bit of juice, or you can actually, you know, just crank it and get all of the power at one time. So the regen is fantastic. You know, you can put a lot of energy. I would say on average, maybe 10% energy back into your actual battery from a ride. And if you're going on long rides and you have some, you know, steep declines, you are able to put quite a bit of juice back into your battery. So, you know, the handlebars, the way that they're kind of sloped backwards makes it extremely comfortable to ride. You know, I've ridden the scooter, I don't know, let's say an hour, 2 hours at a time. And, you know, I don't have any type of discomfort, no type of pain. You know, my feet aren't sore, my back isn't sore. It's very comfortable. It just has a very good upright position that the scooter puts you in when riding it. So, you know, overall, great scooter. Fast, 70 kilometers an hour, great acceleration, you know, good regen. If you want something faster, you've got the Apollo Phantom 2.0 Stellar Edition, which is, I believe, 60 volts. This one is 52 volts, has a 27 amp hour battery. The Stellar has a 30 amp hour battery, so you're going to get a little bit more range, you're going to get a little bit more power, you're going to get a little bit more acceleration, and you get a higher top speed in that scooter, but it does come at a cost. It's roughly about 1,000 more Canadian to buy it over the other version. And, you know, you have a good comparison today of this version of the scooter. So, you know, you can compare them both and find which scooter is right for you. But I'm saying if you buy this scooter, although it doesn't have hydraulic suspension or brakes, you're not going to be disappointed with the performance that it delivers. Now, if you like this type of review, let me know. I will do more of them. I have some other electric videos coming out on some other scooters, on some other electric bikes. They'll be coming out after this. I'll put in the affiliate link the link where you can buy this scooter, and of course, if you buy it from my affiliate link, I get a kickback, which helps the channel and helps me, you know, to do further videos. This was not a sponsored video. I paid for this scooter out of my own pocket, and all my opinions are mine and mine alone. If you have any other questions, you know, let me know. Before I let you go, the things that I also don't like is this light. I believe the light should go down. It doesn't. It goes straight across, as you can see right here. It goes straight. It should go down. It goes all the way there. And I feel like that's a design flaw. And in the nighttime, when I'm riding, I don't feel comfortable with that light because it doesn't give me good visual footage of what is on the ground. So that light they need to change. This bell they need to change. You know, it's not perfect. The kickstand is fantastic. The 360-degree lighting is great. The dampener is great. The tires are great. It's a fantastic scooter. I don't know what more I can say. Give you my complete opinions on this scooter. And if you like this type of scooter, the link is in the description down below so you can buy it and check it out for yourself. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.